lot of people try to win others over by giving them stuff and being excessively generous and nice. And generosity is great. It's like a very helpful trait to have. In fact, the research shows it's generally, like when done right, incredibly effective. But have you ever been to a party with a gift bag? Like where they give you like a swag bag? What do you do with it almost every single time?
Well, in most cases, it's full of stuff that I don't need or want. So
exactly. So you toss it or give it to your kids or whatever, right? Like,
give it away.
Yeah. So that means that they spent all that time and effort trying to win you over and money, but it didn't do anything. So if gifting doesn't generally work, there is one exception. But if it generally doesn't work,
I think the exception would be the Academy Awards. I've heard their gift bags are pretty darn good. I think they have like Rolexes.
Oh yeah, there's like full crazy gifting suites.
Yeah.
But even
that's like
like you're probably not going to use all the stuff, and but count me in. If you want to give me an Oscar and a gift bag, I am all in.
All over
right?
that.
So the question is, what does work? And what researchers found was really kind of startling. We have something called the IKEA effect built into us, which is that we
IKEA, as in the
Swedish
furniture store. Yeah, right.
Yeah, that drives you crazy because you have to stand in line for hours. You get into an argument with your significant other, then you have to like get home and assemble everything. But it turns out that all of that effort actually causes you to care more about it and value it more. And so it turns out that if you want somebody to care about something, it's not about being nice to them. I mean, that helps too. Like it's much better than being mean or rude, right? But it turns out that if I can get you to invest effort into our relationship or into a shared activity, then you're going to care more about it and care more about me. And that's why at the influencers dinner, the secret dining experience that I created, I don't know, like 11 years ago or so, the guests come in, they're not allowed to talk about what they do or give their last name, so there's no status. And then they have to cook dinner together, because then they're investing effort into each other and they'll care more about one another. And I for a while, I was really curious why it actually worked. Like, why does this IKEA effect work? And it turns out, and I don't think this will surprise you at all, human beings think that that trust precedes vulnerability. But vulnerability actually precedes trust.
Yeah, I agree.
And so the way it works is that if, let's say I started working at your company, right? And I'm sitting not far from you and you overhear me say, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to get all this work done. I've just put out a vulnerability signal. Now, if you ignore it or make fun of me, that'll reduce my trust, right? But if you then put out your own vulnerability signal saying, Jon, my first week here, I was totally overwhelmed too. How can I help you? Once I see that, we've both demonstrated that we can be vulnerable with each other and we can trust one another at a higher level. And so your original question was, has your research taught you anything that you really apply to connecting with people? And the first is that if I really want to build meaningful trust with you, I need to find ways to create vulnerability loops. And when people cook together, do an activity together, that naturally happens. That exists based on...
But did you say vulnerability loops?
Yes.
Right.
So like I put out a signal, you put out a signal, and we acknowledge, right?
And loop that. Yeah.
Over and over and over again, and trust grows over time.
Yeah, right.
So if I really want to like, quote unquote, hack trust, like accelerate the process, what I'm going to try to do is figure out what's an appropriate vulnerability signal for me to put out in the first few seconds.
There you have it, guys. Thanks for tuning in to Unstoppable with me, your host, Kerwin Rae. And please do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel where you get to see all of these interviews in the flesh. Share this podcast with your friends. I would love to hear what you guys think. Thanks for joining us.